10 minutes
Yeah.
or something. He was literally in this position. And I mean, that was kind of like one of those things when you're like, oh my God, I mean, there's a door monk, he's whatever, 12, you know, and that calmness in the face, and you're like, oh my God, this is it. It's all, I can't say it's a perfect shot, but it's just, I don't know. I
I lo-
love this photograph,
I love
and,
it.
and many people do. So
It's nice.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those lucky things, you know. The lead up to that photo is nothing but this calmness and perfection, and just kind of like your mind kind of wonders, what is he thinking? Where is he? He knows something that I don't. You know, like this photo has, I think, multiple layers.
Yeah, and
That's why I think it's good.
I agree. Okay. Since you discussed earlier that you did start in food photography, right, with Christian and all the other, we have some photos here about food photography. Maybe you can discuss more about how you shot this. Hold on.
Sure.
There.
Yeah, I mean, this is me and my wife just playing around, really. Here's the setup. The one light, the softbox is on top. There are probably two snoots on the side, and that's it. So basically, the highlight is the key light is from the top, and then you're kind of like, you know, like adding the little bit of light on the side. I love these reflections. I like complicating my life. I like simple stuff, and reflections are always they just work, man. I mean,
They do,
in any type of photography, is it architecture or this, or is it yachts or all that? Once you start with a reflection as you're presenting your shots, so you start with the reflections. Middle part always has to be good, and then you end with a massive reflection shot. No matter what it is
Amazing.
it product, is it this, is that, it just always works. So I like this kind of simplicity.
And just to add to that, it gives it a bit of an alternate universe somehow, because it's reflecting an image, right?
Mind wanders, and they're kind of like, you know, up and down things, you know, like it just it is I don't know, reflections are where we put the camera. Your eye is never is there. Like if you're at the pond, you never go down and you look at the pond like this. I mean, like, try it.
Yeah.
Just try it. You just go to the pond and then just go all the way down to your eyes exactly to the water. You will see the world that you don't see, because you're standing. You're probably, you know, I don't know, I'm 185, so you know, like I'm you know, very close to 2 meters above where the reflections are. But if you go all the way down to the pool or whatever the surface is, you will see the world that you just don't get to see. And you will get photographs. Again, it doesn't matter, especially like when it comes to interior design and architecture. It is always effective.
Great. And we have the last photo. I really like this photo because it's not just food. Hold on, there. It's not just food, but you have jewelry there.
Oh yeah, that was the first time I massively failed as a photographer. Again, photo shoot. That's how I actually met my wife. I mean, she had a restaurant, and I brought this glass, and we were reflecting. But what I didn't know, that if the glass is too thick, you have double reflections, and it was massive failure. And around 3 o'clock in the morning, I was just, you know, angry and depressed, and just like, oh my God, what? And then we started brainstorming, and I don't know who suggested to put jewelry with food. I haven't seen anything like that before. And she said, like, I have a couple of stones.
Wow.
And then the next day we shot, and these photographs were all over. It was like a big restaurant, so you had this massive, you know, like prints on top, and people really liked it, you know. So we almost lost the diamond, though.
Wow.
We had a lobster claw, and we were kind of like trying to put this Yeah, we were trying to put this diamond inside of the lobster claw, but it just keeps slipping. So we used the super glue, and then
Wow.
at some point the diamond went on the floor. So you cannot really break the diamond, but it was like nobody moves. Where is it? Yeah. So it's like it was really like, I mean,
Man.
so much fun to do stuff
Yeah.
with her.
Great. And yeah, talking about people and culture, since other than commercial photography and food photography, you also do people and culture, right? So,
Yeah.
how I'm a bit curious. How hard is it for you to take photos of people in the streets?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I find it kind of easy. I mean, I don't set up a lot of photographs. I mean, like for example, this whole thing with the Nepal and sadhus
Yeah.
that I have. I mean, there is a massive festival. There's a lot of photographers taking shots. You pay for the photo, which I think is absolutely fair, and you just go nuts. You know,
Yeah.
you just stop the guy that you think is interesting. He poses, you know, like steer him to, you know, like here or there, and they're happy to do it. They get a little bit of money, you get a photograph, and everybody are happy.
Yeah.
That
Great.
is that part. The second part is I rarely stop people on the street to kind of like photograph them. I just kind of like when it comes to uh, uh, this particular photographs, I just don't really stop people on the street to photograph them. I did a couple of times, but I really like this thing of just, you know, like finding something that is out there, and just, you know, grabbing that moment with people not really being 100% aware that the photograph has been taken.
Yeah.
That is a lot of stuff, you know. So, you know, if you find somebody interesting, be nice,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, like be mindful of the fact that, you know, like people are not models, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I mean, I worked in fashion also, and like good model is Jesus Christ. I mean, like, you know, your camera, like every frame is good. Work with a not not to say bad model, but the girl or a guy who
Yeah.
really don't know what they're doing. Yeah, that's gonna be painful. So it's all the people on the street are not really pros. So and it's a weird thing to point a camera at something on the
Yeah.
street. I mean, it's just kind of embarrassing if you're absolutely normal. I mean, they're just no, I'm not doing this. See you later. So I don't find it really difficult to connect to people. I just that's one of the things that I have. I just kind of do it naturally.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, Nicola, I'm just also a bit curious because there was a time when I went to Hong Kong and there was a grumpy lady. I was trying to take a photo of her, but she didn't want photos taken because I
yeah.
believe there's this belief in China that when you take pictures of the old people, you get to steal their souls. So,
Oh, sure.
how do you deal with people like that? I mean, for the
I don't. I
mm-hmm,
don't. I never take a picture of somebody who doesn't want. I mean, I just
mm-hmm,
move away.
yeah,
I never insist, never, ever insist on anything. It's just if they don't want to do it, they don't want to
yeah,
do it. We're done. I'll find the next subject. It just, I'm not doing it.
yeah.
I draw the line there. I mean, like if they don't want to be photographed, I just don't. I just, it just,
Don't do it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not doing it. It's
Okay.
just, I'm not doing it.
Okay. And what do you look for in taking portraits? What's the first thing you need to see as a photographer?
I mean, once you kind of like hone your skills really, and this is kind of like coming over time, and it really, you know, like, I mean, in a weird way, you're always photographing yourself. I mean, really, it's just it is a weird thing to kind of like break down,
Yeah.
and when you are this fine-tuned machine, everything kind of like comes naturally. I mean, I was always like, I always had some talent, you know,
Yeah.
like and that is like once you kind of like go through the manuals, once you go through these things and those things, the one thing that you cannot explain and give to people, like, here it is your eye, is your vision, really. You cannot,
That's
no matter
yours.
how much you want to, I'll tell anybody anything that they want to know, but it will always come from my experience, which is kind of useless to other people in the sense that I can give them everything, but I cannot really verbalize what I'm looking for. It's the moment, it's the look, it's the colors. Sometimes there is no stories. There's just a beautiful image. Like I saw. I mean, literally, probably a week ago, I saw Steve McCurry going through his exhibition, and he's talking about this image for like 15 minutes. Then he goes to the next image, and you're like, well, I mean, that was nice. And you see that he's just trying to come up with shit because there is nothing. There's just a beautiful frame.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no story. It's just kind of like, this is beautiful. I'm gonna take it, and that's it. So sometimes it's a massive story. Sometimes it's a look. Sometimes it's a, like something that we grab from the air, like a song or beautiful poetry.
Yeah.
It just, like some channel opens up and you have the shot, or you don't. I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And in terms of I know as a photographer, the most important thing you need is light source, right? So, what do you prefer? Is it with a camera flash or ambient lighting? Maybe you can shed light on that.
I never use flash, and I mean, look,
Yeah.
what I really believe in is that there is no good light and bad light.
Yeah.
There's just kind of like the story of the image, what is on the image, will always trump the light. I mean, if you have the light and the image, that is perfection. But I mean, people take photos in early morning. People take photos in the noon and like at night. It just, there is no. I don't believe in light. I mean, once you have all of these, you hit everything across the board. That is perfection. But how many times can you be perfect? Not too many. I mean, I go in Steve McCurry always. He was known as a prince of darkness. He would go up before the sunrise and photograph people. So I mean, that is traditionally really kind of. Do I do this? It's like you need to know what you're doing to get something. But there is that light, and I also love, like waking up, like super early, because the whole world opens up. The whole world is just waking up, and people are not inhibited by the day.
Yeah.
I don't go to people who are having coffee in the restaurant and kind of like point the camera at them.
Yeah.
But walking around the city or whatever you are, that once the sun is coming up, you get to learn a lot about the light when you're that committed to wake. It's not easy to wake up 4:30. It's just not easy, and to do it consistently, it's even harder. So especially in the places, if you cannot travel, if you're stuck in one place, if you just don't have the means to move around, it is really hard to get inspired. Like, I'm photographing this every day.
Yeah.
Everything. It's just that's how it is.
Okay, and Nikola, let's move on to commercial photography. So,
Sure.
How do you get clients? I mean, what's your style in terms of? Is there such a style that you have to get clients?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if somebody would replicate my career, they would probably starve to death. Like I said, I was fortunate. Bali was coming up when I was coming up, and it was just this gel of just fortune, I think. I never advertised. I never schmoozed around. I never promoted my work. I just literally did not do anything. It was kind of like knowing some friends. They knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
People needed a photographer. They suggested me, and then kind of like the word got around. I mean, these days I'm looking back at those days, going, I can't believe that I had this career. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But today, I mean, you know, one thing that a lot of photographers are struggling with is selling themselves,
Yeah.
which uh, you're literally not selling anything. You're just letting people know what you're doing. You're not aggressively, like doing anything. You're just letting them know, hey man, I mean,
Yeah.
this is my website, or this is the place where you go, and you're trying to get the clients that way. I think that is a very fair way to do stuff. So forget about the selling and all of that stuff. Just kind of like work on your portfolio. That is the main, I think, main ingredients
That you need.
is
Yeah.
what you're putting out there, really. And it's hard to get one, really. Like when you're starting, I mean, it's kind of like this catch-22. Without a portfolio, you don't get the job. Without a job, you don't have a portfolio. How do you go around it? Well, work for free. Offer everybody, if you're interested in food, this and that, you will always find people who are going to be kind of happy to have some free photographs. That is how you build your portfolio. If you're into architecture and interior design, go to some hotel. Go to the garden, photograph that. If you're into food, photograph your mom's dishes, whatever. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you'll have great stories from there. So it is step by step. It is not. It is a long game. It is you just don't get to have a pro career without a massive struggle. I mean, you don't. And then you kind of, I don't know, things happen or they don't happen, and that's how really simple that is. Long game. Think about the long game,
Long game.
and then educate yourself. And education now is absolutely free. YouTube, Google, all this stuff is absolutely available. You don't have to buy anything.
Yeah.
Just anything, filters, this, that. You just don't have to. It's just people are giving it for free. And run away. If somebody's saying, like, I mean, I'm all, this course was $5,000 and now it's like $11, run away. I mean, this is bullshit. I mean, like, come on, man. What are we doing?
Yeah. Nicola, I believe the people who are watching have lots of questions. For those
Yeah.
who are watching, we'll try to read all of your questions in a bit. We're actually near that portion. We'll just wrap up this portion about commercial photography. Nicola, talking about clients, how important is it to say no to a client? I mean, if you don't agree with the brand, how do you say no?
Well, look, I mean, this scenario rarely happens.
Yep.
Take the photos of my pastry or I will kidnap your dog. That just does not happen. I mean, like, I was fortunate enough to work with amazing people. I never had an asshole. I mean, I really it was just a smooth sailing. Now, this being said, it is up to you, depending on where you are in your career, really. If you were, and we're not curing cancer here, we're taking photographs.
Yeah.
Like, really, how? I mean, it is important for the brands, and it is. I mean, you have, like, I photograph, I don't know, villas that are, I don't know, selling for $3 million, and the funny thing about this is that they put 2 years of their life into this. They
Yep.
build these villas. They hire interior designer, and then it's really up to a photographer to bring that villa to life.
Hmm.
It is funny that way. So saying no to a client feels amazing if you can afford to do this.
Mm.
It's like compare yourself to a Hollywood actor that is like a top Hollywood actor.
Yeah.
Look at their first movie. It's usually shit. I mean, it's usually horrific. I mean, there's nothing, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, you're in this position where you're kind of like getting the offers.
Yeah.
This is happening over massive amount of time if we're talking about normal careers. You know, some people hit it, you know, some people win the lottery. But the chances of you kind of saying no in the first couple of years of your career are slim to none. I mean, just no. I mean, it's just not happening. I said
Yeah.
no a couple of times, and it was just kind of like, you know, we're talking about shooting and everything is good and great and all that, and all of a sudden, like they're like, okay, we kind of like don't want to pay. Can you kind of like shoot this for food in a restaurant or a couple of nights of stay? No, I mean I'm not changing. However,
Mm.
if I'm low on money, sure. I mean, it's really apply common sense, really, because I mean, you are taking photographs. You are not number one curing cancer, and number two, you're paid to photograph. So it is really. I mean, unless it's violating some massive moral code, like you will pay you to kill, you know, to film killing 70 people, you know, say no immediately, run away. But anything like it's just for a lot of people, they will not get into the position to say no. A lot of people. So common sense uh, is is uh, is essential
Essential. Yeah.
to this to this particular subject.
Yeah. And Nicola, just to jump into clients, in terms of compromise, how do you balance your artistic style versus what the client wants? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, number one, again, it's a long story.
Yeah.
Now, it's kind of easy, you know, because there is a portfolio there,
Yeah.
and essentially, uh, they they like your style, they love what I do, or they don't, and then it comes to money and all of that. So in the beginning, artistic style, man, I mean, like, you know, be happy that you have a
Yeah.
job, really.
Yeah.
That's how you start.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of like when you're going up and up and up and up in this world, uh, then you can play this, you know, like it's not a game really, it's somebody's life. But yeah, I would assume that, you know, like you will learn over time. You know, you will learn from day one, job number one, to job number 1013.
It's all about experience.
You will get the experience. You will
Yeah.
you will know what to do. Again, education on the
Yeah.
subject is widely available.
Yeah.
You know, so just, you know, like I said, depending really case by case. You know, I mean, I never worked with horrible people. So it just I had a really smooth sailing
Yeah.
in regards to this subject.
Great. And yeah, talking about those who are just starting, how important is it to fail in your work?
Well, I mean, look, I mean, the failure is kind of interesting because you get to, like, failing, you will learn a lot from
Yeah.
it, and that's amazing. But learning from other people's mistakes, I think, you know, like these days is really kind of available.
Yep.
You know, and every single person who got anywhere are glorifying those mistakes that they made.
Yep.
Now, I mean, like, if you put your hand on a fire, you'll get burned.
Mm-hmm.
But try to find somebody who makes sense to you, telling you that that will hurt.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, look, you're human. Anybody is.
Yeah.
We all made massive mistakes. You get up, you learn, and you move on. And I mean, the most important thing, especially for the younger people, is to understand that you really need to forgive yourself. I mean, that is essential. I mean, like
Yeah.
not really too fast forgiving is pretty bad, but you need to understand that like you will fail.
Yeah.
Your passion towards doing stuff, especially if you're doing it day after day after day, they will kind of subside. That's okay.
Yeah.
It will come back. And if it kind of like goes away completely, then you're not meant to do this.
Yeah.
It just, and I mean, I was quitting 2 years ago.
Mm.
Now I'm pumped more than ever. I mean, like it just, like I'm just excited about
Going
photography.
back. Yeah.
So, like I'm gonna get everything back now.
Mm.
So,
Great.
so that is kind of like, what I'm kind of like romantically saying, like Hollywood movies when you see the guy just running. Kind of like that type of stuff is happening,
Yeah.
and it's greatly to this connection that I have to you guys, like to Philippines, so thank you.
You're welcome. And Nicola, talking about that, your experience, I remember you told me that when we were discussing about equipment, that you lost your equipment, right? So
No, it was stolen.
it was stolen. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
maybe you can discuss more about your experience about that.
it was amazing. It was just an amazing experience. I mean, I got I don't know $10,000 stolen from me. So it's just it's a painful thing. I was not insured.
Mm.
It's like $10,000 was
Yeah.
just gone in a blink of an eye, and the it just it's one of those things when you work so hard to get this equipment and
Yeah.
then somebody just takes it, and I don't wish them ill. I just hope that my cameras are with somebody who is treating them well. Maybe we'll meet again one day. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and yeah,
What can you do?
talking about your equipment, what do you put inside your bag when you go out?
I put. I mean, the thing is, I put very little these days. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple of. I don't. Number one, I hate carrying a bag. So if I'm going outside, I am, you know, uh, carrying this. I mean, it's Nikon D800. You guys can check it out. I mean,
That's
like
your
all that.
workhorse.
That's
Workhorse
that's my that's my preferred thing. I bought Fuji X-T2,
camera.
which I absolutely hate. I'm selling it. Look, it's a fantastic camera. I mean, nothing bad
And
about that. But
yeah,
I no. It's like I was thinking, I'm gonna go back. Like smaller cameras. No. You need to
and
suffer.
yeah,
You need to carry. My favorite lens is 70 to
200
200 to 8 Nikkor. That is my absolutely favorite
favorite.
lens, and like I'm carrying 4 kilos. So you have to suffer for your art a little bit. So
And Nicola,
that
just to interject to that, I believe you have a portion of your show about equipment. Maybe we can show the people who are
sure,
watching.
sure.
Let
Let's.
me. Okay, let me play that. Yeah, for those who are interested to watch the episodes of Get Real, you can check them out on Instagram. Just follow Born in Film page, and you can also follow Nicola's Instagram. Okay, we're ready.
That I'm using. So let me show you, okay? Let me show you, okay? Stop buying shit that you don't need.
So Nicola,
There you go.
what can you say about? So yeah, if you're on
Yeah, I love that.
Instagram,
No,
check-
you know what? I forgot. I wanted to put. I mean, just I fucked up in this video. I wanted to put my wife's underwear and the bra, and that would be so much better. But I mean, we'll make that video.
and I have another video. I think this is the part where you were talking about Steve McCurry and what do you call that? The
I don't know.
temperature.
Sure.
Hold on. Let's try to play it. Hold on. Let me.
So many people have asked me about the equipment that I'm using.
Hold on. Let's try to play that.
Now, imagine this scenario. Steve McCurry is changing photo clubs. It's all over the news. The transfer is $150 million. Now,
Maybe.
we're not football players. Even though we're a part of the most competitive profession in the world, I mean, buying a thermometer does not make you a doctor. However, buying a phone does make you a photographer. And if you're a hobbyist, that is the sweetest thing. You don't have to worry about the business of photography. Also, you have the time to do your photography. Mother with 4 children and 6 jobs does not have that luxury. So whistle away. If you are a pro, good luck, because you are going to need that. That is almost always a key component to every career. Dedication, the getting better, those are components, but also the luck is the part that cannot be replicated. That is why careers cannot be replicated. Now, if you're a hobbyist or a pro, your job really is to make somebody's 2 minutes of the day better. That's all you need to do. Think about changing the world later. That comes much later. So go outside and make somebody's 2 minutes better and keep shooting.
Okay, so that's
There
a
you go.
great quote from Nikola.
And I was watching this video and it like, oh my god, I hate myself there. That is the thing, you know, like I cannot be too judgmental, you know, like forgive yourself, move on. Like we're just trying our best.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we're down to the questions. I believe this is the most exciting part for those who are watching. I believe we
Awesome.
have some few questions that were sent in to us. Let me try to read one of those questions. Hold on, let me fix the audio. I think we're good. Okay. So the first question is from Zas Jo. He asks, "Is it worth to gamble your resources for starting up a photography business? Is it worth to gamble your equipment? I mean, your resource, your money."
Gamble away. Just throw it, just gamble away. Look, if this is really what you want to do, I mean now when I'm 47, I would probably advise you to gamble, like where you can, because casino always wins.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're a casino. Just try to cover as much ground as possible. Get a job, get 3, get 10, get 15, and if this is kind of like going, it's not gonna go all the time.
Yeah.
I was hungry. I had 1 meal a day in Bali for about,
Yeah.
I don't know, 6-7 months, really. And then everything blew up. So you just never know what's gonna happen. If you're ready, you just strap on and just kind of like go for it, man. I mean, I cannot tell you not to do it. Just do it. I mean, you might lose.
But
I mean,
yeah.
that's the reality.
Okay, and we have
You wa-
another. Yeah, sorry. We have another question from Will. He asked. Will Degani asks. We hear so often that the lack of original stories, that we've all seen it before. So, how do you say? How do you stay fresh in the face of an idea like that?
I think everything has been photographed, but it hasn't been photographed by you. I mean, the only thing that is truly original is you. So, like some people will find your stories horrific. Some people will love them, but as long as you're having fun, as long as you believe in what you're doing, but really, really you believe what you're doing,
Yeah.
you cannot be. Look, if somebody tells you something and you actually agree with this, and go like, oh my God, this is a pretty. I didn't see this.
Yeah.
Then it's a good thing. But you know, the truly original ideas are, they're rare. They're absolutely rare. Look at the amount of people that are photographing the same stuff. I mean, it's like, where do you go? I mean, really, like,
Yeah.
people are photographing molecules. I mean, geez, I mean, it is insane.
Yeah.
So it's about you. It's about your belief, and then like gathering like the crowd behind you, the community, actually, not the crowd behind you to applaud you, but the community that is kind of like, oh my God, I mean, this is amazing, and then that community kind of like builds up.
Yeah.
That's I think my answer to this.
Great. And I believe we have a phone-in question from one of
Yes.
our members. It's Jovan. Jovan, can you hear us?
That's my buddy.
Hello,
I
Jovan.
can hear you guys. Hello.
Can you hear us?
I
Yes.
So, Jovan,
Alright.
maybe ask away.
Okay. So my question is, um, what is the specific experience that you can recall that lead you to a different principles and ethics in line with your career right now?
Well, I mean, I remember one specific moment when I was broken down by the nicest guy in the world. Like in Nepal, I was with the. I saw this guy across the square. He was carrying D3. At that time, I bought a D800, and the debate was D3 or D800. I saw this camera across the square, and then I lost the guy. It was just too crowded. It turned out that he was staying in my hotel. I approached him, and it turned out that he was recording, like photographing this particular thing for, I don't know, Bhaktapur. He was photographing for 7 years. So the guy knew every single corner there was. His name is Paolo Uboldi. Check out his stuff. And he literally gave me the whole city. Like, we woke up every morning, we were photographing together. Literally, he was telling me, like, this particular corner. He was like, she will appear. 3, 2, 1. There she was. Took the photo. I was broken down by niceness. And from that moment on, there was no more competition with photographers. There was none of that bullshit that everybody are so precious about their thing. You're like, oh my God, literally, like, ask me whatever the fuck you want. I'll tell you all of my secrets. There are no secrets. It's just like, what is the secret?
Yeah.
What can I possibly hide from anybody? It's all out there, man. It's all in the open. So that was the moment for me that changed everything. I wasn't hanging out with the photographers. I didn't want to know about the photographers. It was just kind of like the whole switch came probably 8 years ago.
Yep.
I am open to anything when it comes to photographers. I don't care, man. I mean, like, and the funny thing is, when we went back to our hotel room that night and we were looking at our photos, even though we were standing next to each other, the photos are completely different. Just completely has nothing to do with each other.
Yeah.
So that was the moment.
Great. And Jovan, did you hear most of the question? I believe, yeah. Jovan, are you still there? Hello?
J-Bond.
Jovan? Hello? Hello? Are you still there? Hello, Jovan?
He's gone.
Hello?
Hi, Jovan.
I think there's a bit of delay. Jovan? I think there's a bit of a.
Good question. Let me answer that question.
Let's just try to wait. Can you hear us, Jovan?
Yes, yes, I can
Great.
hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a follow-up question for Nicola?
Yeah.
Go
Hello.
ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
still here. Okay. Uh, just to follow up, one question. Okay. So,
Go ahead.
hello.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So, hello. I can still hear you guys. Hello. Ah, just a follow-up question. So, in finding the creative side, what are the considerations that we need to put on as a beginner like me?
Sorry, I didn't quite hear that.
He was asking about since he's a beginner, what are the considerations that he needs to take on in photography? What does he need to
Your
consider?
your eye is the only thing that you cannot buy. I mean, that's it. Your eye is the cameras, all these things
Yeah.
are a gradual process. The only thing that you cannot buy is your eye. Educate your eye, like really educate your eye. Look at the photos. I mean, like they're widespread, man. I mean, like YouTube, everything. It's all out there. Google, whatever.
Yeah.
But your eye, your story, your soul is something that well, number one, shouldn't be for sale, and number two is the only thing that is not available to anybody else. Everything else is. You might come to equipment, like I was looking at the Hasselblad cameras in Singapore of all places, and I'm looking at this Hasselblad system, and it's like, very interesting. If I would have a bare minimum of what I need, that's like $40,000.
Yeah.
So I mean, fuck that. I mean, like really, it's amazing. It's amazing equipment and all that. But man, do I really need $40,000 to spend on equipment?
Yeah.
Fuck no. Out of principle, I'm not doing it. I mean, I might get sponsored. I will not say no to that. But no, man. I mean, your eye, man. Just educate yourself as much as you can.
Yeah.
If it's a passion, you're gonna eat it up. It's kind of like learning how to play a guitar when you're 14. Like the guy is 14, he starts playing. 6 months later, he's playing, like all along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix, flawless. Time and passion towards what you're doing are everything. Your eye, your vision, your thing that is not available to anybody else. That's just you.
That's really essential. Okay, so we have a couple more questions. We have Will again asking. Some people say, take the risk and go, but how far until we draw the line in our art? So how do you balance that?
Well, again, very personal. I mean, you are the one who draws the line.
Yeah.
The only person who can draw that line is you. So listen to your whatever inner voice or whatever that is. You are the one who sets the rules, nobody else.
Yeah.
So therefore, find out what the rules are. Find out what your boundaries are. Find out what your safe word is. Really, it's just find that out, and you might kind of have the answer. And the only person who can actually give you that answer is unfortunately you.
Great. And
Or fortunately you.
Yeah. Great. And we have another question from Ruel Torres. He asks, what are the important elements or those that you should prioritize, especially when just starting. So what are the things you need to think of when you're starting?
Education and history.
Great.
Those are two most important things I believe in anything. Go find out what the guys in 1800s did. Find out who they are. Find out their names.
Yep.
And all of these things. And then, kind of when you're taking the photos and you are showing it to your mom, dad, sister, brother, like your friends, and they're all going, "Oh my God, this is great." Well, compare that to the highest people that you can find in the field of photography, and see how that compares.
Yep. Hey.
It's not gonna be good in the beginning. It's again a long journey. It's a long way.
And it's normal to fail at the start, right?
It's essential. I mean, you cannot not fail. It's just not gonna happen. Because look, there's so many variables, especially like getting your first job. You're not gonna be sleeping for like 5 days. If you're normal, you're not going to be sleeping. You're just be thinking about this thing. You're just going to be, like getting relaxed at enormous amount of pressure. For example, I shot some hotels when there are 14 people in the conversation.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure. But you don't get to shoot a hotel without a portfolio, which is never. It's not going to be like, well, my cousin knows a guy who works in the purchasing and therefore you're shooting a hotel.
Exactly.
Never gonna happen, man. Being calm under those circumstances is, something that you learn. It just does not. Everything happens gradually in photography. Everything. These big leaps. It's kind of like, there are some guys who are that talented and that amazing. And after 6 months, they are having these careers that are incredible. However, try to name 10 photographers, 10 names that you know. I dare you. Just name 10 photographers. We're not famous. That is not why we do this. We love it. That's why we do this.
Okay, so we have another phone-in question from, it's a bit far from Manila. Hi, Renz.
Hey!
Hello, Renz. Can you hear us? He's from Dipolog. That's the southern part of the Philippines.
Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay, I think. Renz, can you hear us?
We're not
I cannot hear anything, but
Yes.
if you can get his question, Franz, and then
Yes.
repeat it to me because you just
There's just a bit of a delay, so we're just waiting for him to finish listening to what you're saying. Okay, so Renz, can you hear us?
Hello po.
Yes, go ahead.
Good to meet you, man. Hello.
Hello.
Yes po. Hello.
Go ahead, ask your question.
I cannot hear anything. But, if you can get his question from, then
We can hear you.
There's just a bit of delay, so we're waiting for him to finish. Hello. Yes po, naririnig ko po kayo, sir.
Go ahead. What's your question, Renz?
This is my question, sir. What is the one thing you wish you knew when you started taking photos?
What's the one thing that you wished for when you started taking photos? That's his question.
I hate to admit this. Manual camera. This was an amazing piece of equipment. Okay, like if you're born after '95, this used floppies. Go check it out. Google it. You don't know what it is. I guess. So this camera had only shutter priority or aperture priority, and I was dreaming of the day when I will go fully manual. This is kind of like it's kind of a joke, really. I don't really remember if I really wanted something.
Yeah.
I don't think that there was anything that I really wanted that was just like out there, uh, unachievable. It just there was nothing really that would stick as something that I really wanted. I kind of like decided to go for this. I mean, just you know, stupidly. I was not informed how difficult it is to have a career in this profession, and I actually took up photography because it was kind of like easy. It was like, and then like 4 years later, it's like, aha, this might not be as easy as I thought. But actually, like I said, I was really fortunate to have this kind of like a slow progress up and a lot of
Yeah.
love and a lot of time. I had time to do this.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have that luxury,
Yeah.
and I'm deeply grateful and aware of it. Like it's not like, oh my God, I'm such a genius. If I had to do 3 jobs and support and barely was like it just I was pretty fortunate. It took a lot of time and a lot of people who helped, and I owe massive gratitude to my uncle, to Christian, to the
Your
best
wife.
friend of mine was 65. He was Steve Miller, who literally fixed me and gave me so much love and support. I mean, it is incredible what this man did to me. I mean, Christian was good, but this other person, like I said, Steve Miller, was instrumental in my growth. I mean, there are many people,
Yeah. Hey, so, Renz, are you still there? Renz? There's just a bit of a delay, so maybe. I think you can hear yourself. I think he's waiting for you to finish. That's the thing. I think he's down. One of. I mean, he's down the
Hello,
sounder.
yes po.
Yeah. Go ahead, Renz. Go ahead.
Yes po, yes po.
Do you have another question for Nikola?
Hello, yes po, yes.
Go ahead.
Do you have another question? Yes po. After this quarantine, what are your goals po? Or what is the first thing you're going to do? Are you going to go out and take street photos or anything else?
So yeah, I
Well,
think.
I mean,
Go ahead.
like Franz and me were discussing our plans, and it's mainly world domination. No, I mean, look, it is going to be step by step. I'm allowed to go outside, like in Bali, and I just kind of like I'm really excited about what me and the Philippines team is doing. So I'm really hoping that we will be able to go out and photo walk with that France is organizing is going to happen. So I would really like to be in Philippines with all of you guys and take photos with you. That would be kind of like my really massive desire. And then I mean we will see. We're planning to go to Europe. I have one boat to shoot there, and that will be incredible. And hopefully, like I'll be able to phone you in from that photo shoot.
Yeah.
Those are kind of like immediate plans, and then really diving into my passion, that being either India or Nepal or going back to Burma. I'm still debating. I really don't know. I mean, right now I'm just focusing on 100% focusing on doing the show with the Philippines, group of people, and trying to get off my own podcast going, and there are many things that I'm
Working
kind of
on.
involved with right now.
Yeah. Okay. So Renz, are you still there? Renz? Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple more questions
Go
we
ahead.
got from Facebook. Let's try to read some of them. We have one from Jesse Kobangbang. He asks, "You can." I think the phrasing is.
Yeah.
I make a. How do you? I think he's asking about how do you make a photo stand out, especially today that we see many pictures online. I mean, how do you?
I mean, uh, I think that the standout stuff is usually connected to a certain type of a story.
Yeah.
You just cannot make a massive impact unless you have some tremendous thing happening, like a volcano exploding or bear fucking a zebra. Uh, it's just kind of like you cannot really do that. So I wouldn't really worry too much about standing out. I would worry about finding a story that you can connect to. If
Yeah.
you're talking about social media and stuff like that, I mean, like if it's Instagram and you have, like let's say 9 fields, or 18 fields, keep it in one kind of story. Tell a story. Don't think about one single image. It is very, very difficult to do that. And then the patience, like, I mean, you're posting every day, like one photo, and then another one,
Yeah.
and then another one. And then in 18 days, people get to see what you meant,
Yeah.
which is kind of hard to do, like, I mean, just kind of like we're all impatient. So think stories. Tell a story. Tell your story. Tell a story of something that you're
Passionate
in.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tell a story.
Okay, so we have another question from Ruel Torres. He asks, "What are the important elements or those that you should prioritize, especially when you're just starting?"
Well, I mean, we answered that question just
Yeah.
just before.
Yeah.
I mean, like really, education and I mean that comes to history, and go for. I mean, education is so widely available these days.
Yeah.
It's just out there. You don't have to pay for it. You just have to have either a phone or laptop. And I mean, look, a lot of people don't have that. Like, I mean, if there is, you maybe know somebody who does.
Yeah.
Like ask them to spend an hour. Like step by step, depending on where you are, really.
Yeah.
But education is there, and history
Important.
is a pretty good start.
Okay, so we have another one on the line with us tonight. Hi, Mary. Are you there?
Hey, Dad.
Can you hear us, Mary?
Hi.
Yes.
Great.
Hello.
Yeah, go.
Hi.
Ask away. Ask away.
I have a question regarding with inspiration. For example, have you ever been in that situation wherein you do not have, when you experience photographer's block?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was quitting 2 years ago. I mean, not quitting, but I just didn't have anything to offer. I mean, like I said, it is not uphill thing all the time. I mean, you just kind of like, I mean, hopefully your dips are not going to be that massive, but if you tend to, like me, I mean, I'm very emotional. I mean, it's just it's a little bit too much. So my dips tend to be kind of like really, really low. I got better at it. Like I don't experience this
Yeah.
massive downs as I did 10 years ago. But forgive yourself. I mean, like really, like let yourself off the hook. You are not inspired. You're not this, that. I mean, look for inspiration somewhere else. You know, outside. You know, like because you never know. I mean, many people were saying like one book changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that first step that happens, and then things start rolling. So,
Yeah.
you know, just don't be too harsh on yourself. That is important. You know, don't forgive yourself like immediately. You know, like oh my God, like you know, I fucked up majorly. Like oh, I'll forgive myself. No, I mean, but try to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, really, because you're not gonna be inspired all the time. You just that's just that. That's for crazy people. It's just like, you know, oh, flower, oh, this, oh my God. I mean, this is the most amazing thing. Like this crazy positivity. I mean, that is bestowed on just a few people on this planet. And, you know, it's not easy to be inspired all the time. It's just not possible. It's just not available. And perfection is just not available. You will hit the perfect moments, you know, savor them, and really kind of like when you're hitting that perfect moment, just stop and breathe. Don't just rush to the perfection, because it is really rare. So,
yeah. Okay, so Mary, are you good with the answer?
Much.
Do you have another question for Nikola?
So far, none.
You're good.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I hope I.
Thank you for calling in.
Yes.
Okay, so
Thank you.
All right.
great. So we have a couple more. I believe these are some of the last questions that we have.
Sure.
We have one again from Ruel Torres. He asks, "You do general photography and practice different genres. What are your top 3 genres?"
Travel, food, and well, the third one is kind of difficult. I don't know what is the third one. I think that, you know, like if I would like gun to my head, it would be travel above everything else.
Yep.
It's really hard to come by. I mean, these things are like kind of like it is a kind of like believe that, you know, like that trip that you're taking will actually bring something in the future.
Yeah.
You know, it's just being paid to travel. That's just, you know, like it's really really difficult. But food would be the second one. I mean, I think that the food would be the second one, and the third one is actually we're discovering it right now. It's doing these videos, doing the just kind of like making
Something different.
things real, I guess.
Yeah. Great. So I believe we have another question from Jesse Koptangbang. He asks, you can make
We answered
I
that
think,
question.
Yeah, he sent that already. Let's go
Yeah.
to RC Rosales. He asks, I feel like I have
I
no
know that.
direction
I know this
in
girl.
photography other than street. Is it a bad thing? If I were to find a direction in photography for myself, how do I go about it?
Number one, hi. I told you to DM me and we will have a private conversation. But let me give you some answer here. No, it is not a bad thing. I mean, if the street is what you want to do, that is what you want to do. There is no good or bad. It just does not exist. Can you go back to the question? I just want to read it again.
Okay, so he asks, I feel like I have no direction in photography other than street. Is it a bad thing? If I were to find a direction in photography for myself, how do I go about it?
Passion. I mean, literally follow what your passion is. If you don't have a passion, try everything. And then, I mean, very, very, like, the most excellent thing is this: wake up every day, 4:30, go on the street, and study light. study what happens, study literally study what happens to a corner 437, 452, 512, 530, 6.
Yeah.
Study the light. I mean, if you don't have a direction, the light will tell you certain things.
Yeah.
All of us want to travel. Everybody are like, oh my God. I mean, like, ask anybody. Probably number one thing is like, I wish I traveled a little bit more. Now, there are people who just can't. Financially, that's not available. If it's not available, you got to make it available. Nobody will give you that. Nobody's just gonna hand it out to you like, okay, I mean, you're amazing. I mean, like, oh my God, let me pay you for travel. It just doesn't happen. Study the light. The light will tell you. You will discover something when you least expect.
Okay, so we have our last sent question to us from Aimee de la Cruz. She asks, I mean, it's not really a question. I think it's a reflection on what you've been saying. She said, I always love taking pictures personally. It gives me such a fulfillment. I'm just afraid to take a leap of faith to consider this even a sideline job.
Well, I mean, when you go to bed tonight, close your eyes and imagine your exhibition, and then do the following: go to any museum, grab that photograph, of the museum and the works of the artist that you really admire, and then insert your photographs in there. See how that looks like. Dreaming about it, that's nice. I mean, that's awesome, and dreams are, I mean, essential, really. Without that, it's just, I don't know, it's not gonna happen. But just try to, I guess, try to imagine that life, because it is not easy career to come into. Nobody is gonna give you this career. Nobody is gonna hand it to you.
Yeah.
You gotta take it. You just gotta take it. That's all there is to it.
Okay, so we have our final caller. Lali, can you hear us?
Hey.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. So yeah, maybe you can ask away.
Hi, Lali.
All right. Okay. So I heard a while ago that you said that you're kind of like an open book, and there are no secrets with you. So my first question is, what is the most controversial thing that you've encountered in your photography career?
Nikola, just to interject, did you know that Lali is the daughter of Tito Bong?
Oh my God! I love your dad.
She's a daughter.
Oh my God, this is amazing! It's so nice to meet you. I mean, we will definitely meet in Philippines. That's so amazing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Controversial stuff. I don't think that. I mean, I don't think this is controversial. I realized all of my dreams when me and my wife went on this 2.5-year trip around the world, and in that time we did I told you, like 14 books, and that thing literally almost ended my career. I mean, I was so burned out of photographing cities which I don't want to be in. I mean, at that extent, I love certain cities on this planet. That is kind of like, it was surprising to me. I was definitely completely burned out, and it took me probably 2 years to recover. And then, like, our publishing house went under. We just didn't make it, and that was a massively painful thing. I know what I could have done better. I mean, if I was starting now, that thing would actually work.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I actually experienced controversy. By realizing my dreams, I almost ended my career. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I'm back now. So I mean, like talking to the two listeners before, I mean, those dips that happened when I realized all of my dreams. Like really, all of my dreams of traveling and all that happened, and that was surprising. I mean, it was amazing to do this. I mean, absolutely amazing to travel for 2.5 years. I wouldn't take that back for anything. We had so much fun. It was incredible, absolutely. But what came after and the pain of not being able to do it, and the loss that we took, that was just it took a while to recover.
Okay. So, Lali, do you have a follow-up question? Hello, Lali? Can you hear us? Hello, Lali? Are you there? Hello, Lali? Not sure if you...
Hello?
There. Do you have a follow-up question for Nicola?
Yeah. Okay. The other one is, what is one popular opinion out there that you don't actually agree with? It can be about photography, but it can be actually something in general. So what's one popular opinion out there that you agree with?
Well, I mean, I don't think I don't know if this is popular or not. I just strongly disagree with spending money on other people's work, buying, for example, filters for there's a lot of geezers out there who are selling these filters, and you kind of like buy this, and then you put your photo, and voila, that. And look, these guys work really hard on this, so I respect that. I mean, I respect that part. However, I don't think that you need to spend any money outside, obviously, of buying a camera, and then those cameras will become better and better and better, hopefully with you becoming better. I don't think that as a beginner, right now, you don't need to spend literally any money on anything except that camera. I mean, you need a phone or whatever it is. I mean, whatever you need a tool to produce stuff. But anything else, I don't think it's really necessary to spend any money on anything when it comes to a starting point. I mean, obviously, like people that you admire and all that, there are master classes. There's this, there's that. But there's also massive amount of interviews on any photographer that is of any interest. Everybody are starting their podcasts, especially right now. The amount of information that you can actually get for free is incredible. It's just incredible. So maybe that is not controversial or anything. Not trying to be controversial at all, but you just really don't need that much to start your journey in photography. I'm not talking about professional photography. I'm not talking about the serious hobbyists. I mean, Jesus Christ! I mean, in Nepal, I literally through my window, I've seen, I don't know, like 5 Japanese guys practicing to photograph freaking birds, and I love bird photography. Like there's amazing shots, but Jesus Christ, these are $10,000 lenses to photograph a freaking bird. I mean, it's kind of funny, Like I mean, and I do love good shot of an eagle across the lake and all of that. And I don't think that none of these people are pros. So yeah, I don't think that you need to spend any money to start, really, any money.
Great. So, Lali, are you good with questions? Lali, are you good?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lali.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in.
Oh, I have one more.
Go ahead,
I
Nicola.
have one more for Lali.
Go ahead.
Photoshopping stuff. Or am I shooting with analog, digital, phone this. Who gives up? It is the image. It is the final image. That is the only thing that matters. How you got there? Who gives up? Nice. Thank you.
I forgot to put in our sound effects. Anyway, thank you, Lali. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
We have a couple of comments from our live. Let me just read them to you. We have one from Mean Arroyo. She used to be my office mate. She asked actually, is the man his model? I think she's referring to the portrait earlier, the one with what's his name? Sahid, right?
Sadhu guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Napoli Sadhu, yes.
Yeah, she was asking about, is the man your model or an ordinary man you just bumped in? How did you approach him?
This was done the festival that traditionally happens every year in Nepal and in India. Actually, it's called Shivaratri, and it is the gathering of sadhus are people who denounce the earthly goods, so they live off the grid, and they gather, like in Nepal, in India, every year in one place. There's a lot of them. I mean, there's real ones. There's guys who just put the paint and look for photographers, to get some money, which is like, fair game. So that is where I met him. When I met this guy in this massive festival that happens every year, Shriva Ratri.
In India, right?
Yeah.
So
In Nepal. This was in Nepal.
Okay.
But, I mean, the festival goes on also in India.
Okay. And we have one of your friends. I think he's the one who's been commenting on your post. Inbal Christine. Do you remember him?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, my buddy.
Your buddy. Okay. So he was asking, can you take?
She was asking.
She was asking. Can you sorry. Can you
Christine,
take?
you're a man, definitely. Sorry. I mean,
Can you take-
that's how we see you.
The question is, can you take pictures of children for free? You don't need approval.
You know what? This is I think it varies from continent to continent. I think I would never allow anybody to take a photo of my daughter. I mean, fuck that. I mean, really, no. It's just a no for me as a parent. In Asia, like what I experienced, Indonesia, Nepal, Burma, I think greatly in Philippines and in Vietnam, it is absolutely fine. I mean, really, it just in Europe you might get into some sort of trouble. Not trouble, but I mean, people will just ask you to do this. I mean, like
Yeah.
there are people who were coming to my daughter and like like, oh, what are you doing? Like get away.
Get away.
Like no. So I think it will depend on case by case, really.
Yeah.
It's
Case
just
by case.
it's case by case.
Okay. Hey, we don't have any other questions, but we have some reactions to our show. We have
Awesome.
Mean again. She says, "Big hugs for you, Sir Nikola, from the Philippines. Thank you for sharing all your experiences."
Thank you.
Okay, and we have another one from Fitz. He says, "What genre of music do you play, and who is your favorite band?"
Oh, Pearl Jam by far, and that was pretty much what I was like. My band's kind of like was influenced by a lot of people, but the grunge was the period in music that I always go back to. I mean, that's it. Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots. Before that, there was a massive movement in Britain with Stone Roses and Happy Mondays and Inspiral Carpets and Joy Division and bands like that.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. So, we have another one from Sarah Rosenberg. She asked.
Oh,
You
that's
know her?
the next. That's the next girl on the.
Oh, that's her.
On the that is her. She is incredible. I mean,
Yeah,
whoever is
it's
watching, guys, go to her Instagram. On my stories, there are a couple of photos. Follow that link. Go to Sarah's stuff. She is
Hi, Sarah. We're excited to
incredible.
meet
Incredible.
you.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that podcast. I mean, she'll be a guest of mine for sure.
Wow.
I mean, Sarah, you're coming. See you later.
Okay, so she asks, any advice how to find money to exhibit your work? Prints cost a lot. Usually, I lose more money than I make when I set up an exhibit.
Fuck exhibits. Number one. The way to get stuff in this particular regard, go and find interior design places, the places that sell furniture, stuff like that. Much nicer people to approach than galleries. Way nicer people. You know, like, and look, I mean, this is coming from, again, this experience was I went through 12 cities over 3 continents. I have visited probably 300 galleries. And 95% of them, this is my opinion, this is not, you know, like, this is just my opinion,
Yep.
are absolute shit. Like, absolute, just, I wish that I have never seen them. Like, really. The biggest thing that is happening that the world doesn't know about is Moscow. Moscow has probably the best art display on this planet. And people have no idea because, I mean, Moscow is kind of like Russia and all that part is a little bit,
Yeah.
it's not closed,
That's,
but it's incredible.
that's one of
Go
the
to-
reasons why I want to go to Moscow.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, you'll be my guest there.
It's
Going
one
to
of
be
the greatest
amazing.
places
We'll
for
go
art.
to Dacha and we'll,
Yep.
yeah. I'm just, my wife confirmed. So go to interior design places, the places that sell furniture. What is happening there is actually people, when they see the photograph on the display, they're buying stuff for their apartment, and they will gravitate towards the art there. It is not the you know, purest thing, or, you know, like, if you want to go gallery way,
Yeah.
good luck, like, really good luck. And yeah, I mean, it is possible for some people, but I think that any place that has household stuff like that is really good way to go. It's really easy to approach them, you know, like, I mean,
Yeah.
bring your laptop or whatever, talk to the shop girl, shop guy, whatever, show them the stuff,
Mhm.
and if they love it, and your stuff is incredible,
Yeah.
I mean, really incredible. I don't know the idiot who would not sell their stuff. I mean, that is just, I mean, they're retarded if they don't want to sell their stuff. They're just a retard.
Yeah.
The reflections, or Jesus. So that would be my advice. I mean, galleries are gonna come. I'm like, you can, you know, go into that world, of course.
Yeah.
But if you want to make some money, I think that this is the way to go.
Great.
And I mean, this is talking from my experience. My experience has been amazing in this type of stuff.
Great. And Sarah says thank you. Great. So we have another comment from Fitz. I think this is a reaction to what you said about music. He says, a big fan of grunge, man. Thanks for the answer. We should jam sometime.
Oh yeah, we will jam.
Hey.
We will make jam. We'll probably not jam.
We have a last question from Tito Bong, who's actually
Yay!
sending
Tito.
his own question. Nicola, after shooting around the world, do you still have any other dream shot?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, like, Africa is high on the list. Alaska would be the second place. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I want to go and shoot the winter. Going to Papua New Guinea on the Papuan side, not Indonesian side, would be another one. Definitely going to Amazon and shooting the tribes there, another thing. I mean, there it's just it's just endless, really. So a lot of plans. I mean, a lot of plans. Seeing Aurora Borealis would be another thing
Dude.
that I would like to experience.
Dude, you should probably go to the Philippines. You get to
Yeah.
see lots of things
I mean,
here.
absolutely. I mean, the Philippines is look. I'm coming there in October. We're
You know
doing
what?
this walk.
You know
I'm
what?
hugging people.
You know what,
So,
Nicola? We have different kinds of beach. We have black sand beach. We have white sand beach. We have pink sand beach. We have everything here. So if you want to go swimming, you can go here.
yeah, man.
Okay. So
That's done.
we're down to one of our last segments. We call this one question, one answer. So let me just start off with the jam. Hold on.
Jam it.
Game. Let's try to play a game. Okay. So Nicola, one question, one answer.
Go.
Film or digital?
Digital.
Color,
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Color or black and white film? I mean,
Don't
color
care.
or black and white.
Don't care. Good image. Good image. I don't care.
Landscape or macro?
Oh shit, that's a good one. Both. Both. Absolutely both.
Asia or Europe?
Oh, Asia. Rubbish. Fuck Europe.
Bali or Philippines?
Oh, that's not fair. Both.
Okay, Facebook or Instagram?
I like Instagram. I really do like Instagram. It's kind of cool. I mean, Facebook is awesome, but Instagram is awesomer.
Great. Zoom lens or fixed lens?
Always Zoom. I mean, always. It's just like, why would you want to be like stranded with like, you know, I have a 50 millimeter. Jesus Christ! What? I mean, really, like, why? There are zoom lenses that are so good right these days. Primes. I mean, that's for like. Yeah, next question.
Next question. Beer or cola?
A beer.
Okay, next. Food photography or portraits?
Portraits.
And the last question. Ansel Adams or Steve McCurry?
Ansel Adams.
And you need to answer this. Why?
Because accidentally he changed the world. He was photographing these things, and then in 40s his photographs were presented to the Senate of he had a massive fan in the Senate of the United States. The photographs were presented to President Roosevelt, and Roosevelt made a national park out of, I believe, King's. I'm sorry, I cannot remember right now. King's something. The national park was made not only because of these photographs, but greatly because of what the President of the United States have seen. That is kind of like the guy going out there shooting stuff, and mind you, Cartier-Bresson, who is the father of who made the Magnum
photo.
Yes, a Magnum photo, which changed the world massively. Really, it's for photography, like the massive documentaries.
And
said about Ansel Adams, while the world is falling apart, Ansel is photographing trees. Boy, was he wrong. I mean, it's 2020, so my God, he was just wrong.
There you have it. Okay, so we have actually a surprise for those who are watching, and and all the members of Photo Nation, right, Nicola? We have a surprise for them. So maybe you can talk about the surprise. It's actually a book by Nicola. He's giving it.
Go see it.
Great. So, I believe we're down to your advice. What would be your advice to those who are just starting or those who want to pursue more in photography?
Advice always comes from personal experience, and that's why it's super, super, super dangerous. So it's not going to be advice. I'm going to just repeat what I said. The only thing that you cannot buy is your eye.
Yeah.
Educate your eye.
Go ahead.
And education comes from two sources. Number one is what you see, what you learn, what you experience. And actually, not what you're able to get on internet, on information. And number two is coming from experience. Like, you're not gonna be the same person. If you're 20 and you're listening to this, look back when you were 15. You're a different person, right? When you're 25, 30, 45, your world is going to be very different. How you view stuff is going to be different. You're not gonna be much different, but the only thing that you cannot buy is your eye, is your vision. So that's it. That is it. Fuck cameras, fuck everything. that happens. That happens over time. Educate yourself. Look through history of photography. Look at the first guy who ever took a photo, which took, I believe, 11 hours to make. And it's just, like in this bunch of whatever. It's just not, it's shit, but it's the first photograph ever. There is that photograph. Google the first photograph ever made right now. See what it looked like.
Oh.
And go and look at Alfred Stieglitz. That is the guy who won the battle for us.
Yes.
Alfred Stieglitz.
Yes. And I believe Sarah just came in just now. She didn't hear the surprise. So, Sarah, if you didn't hear the surprise, Nikola is giving away his books for free for all those who are in Photo Nation. Great. So, yeah. Nikola, maybe you can tell them how or where they can see your works. Maybe you can share your Instagram or your website.
My Instagram is Nikola Kostic under thing prints, and I mean, if you go to a Photo Nation Facebook page, I mean, I'm always putting these two things. My website and my Instagram are there. So, yeah, I mean, let's connect.
Yes, and we'll push them again. Okay, so thank you for joining us tonight, Nikola.
It was a pleasure, and yeah, I'm looking forward to our next episode of Get Real. I'm looking for the second part of the food stuff.
Yes.
And yeah, I'll keep shooting and hopefully do the same. And I will see you in Philippines in October. That's happening. That is just happening.
We will be seeing Nikola in October. And also, Nikola, maybe you can invite them. I think we're planning, right? Seminar online within the group.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we are still trying to figure out the details. And what I have offered on my Instagram page is for anybody to DM me, and I will find the time to talk to. However, that was kind of like a little bit surprisingly successful. So when you talk to 3 people for an hour every day, it's really difficult, and I will still do that. However, Franz and me were trying to organize some sort of a group of people. It's not a class. It's not this thing. Let's talk about photography, and I'm not better or worse. Like I just want to be a part of this conversation, and whoever wants to join us, we will let people know when, where. Like what medium it is, and anybody who is interested can come in. I don't care if you bought a camera yesterday, you're welcome. If you're a pro and you're nice, you can come in. If you're a freaking jerk, like just stay out. And
join us.
I will look at myself as the guy who knows the least in the group. So let's make that happen.
Nikola, maybe instead of calling it a workshop or a seminar, maybe we can call it a session.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, names are really just people talking about stuff that we're all passionate about.
Great. So, thank you, Nikola. Thank you for joining us tonight, and see you on when will we showing your next episode? Tuesday, right? Every
guess
Tuesday.
so, yeah.
Great.
And I'm shooting the episode, I think, on Monday next month.
Yeah,
So
and I think you're shooting the future episodes, right?
I have
Or
no idea. I
so
mean, no, I don't think that will be sure. I don't know. I actually don't know what I'm going to. I have no idea what. Like
great.
really, we'll
Thank
see.
you, Nicola. Talk to
Thank
you
you.
later. Okay, so bye bye.
See you, buddy.
Great. Hold on, let me just switch my camera. Okay, guys. So I believe that's all the time we have for tonight. We will be leaving you with this song from the original Broadway cast of School of Rock. My name is Franz, and this has been Film Factor. Hold on, let me just fix some of the music. Here we go. If you're on Instagram, do follow the IGTV that we have for Nicola. Just go to Get Real on our IGTV. Hold on, let me just try to Great. So, yeah, and that was Film Factor. Thank you for joining us this week. We will try to go back again next week. So we will be leaving you with this song from School of Rock with the original Broadway cast. Thank you.
When the world has screwed you and crushed you in its fist, when the way you're treated has got you good and pissed, there's been one solution since the world began. Don't just sit and take it, stick it to the man.
And that was Join us again next time. Follow us on our social platforms at Born in Film on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to use hashtag The Passion Lives On.
Parents overwork ya, stick it to the man. Hate the way they jerk ya, stick it to the man. Tired of the system, stick it to the man. Rise up and resist them, stick it to the man. Break the rules, ignore the signs, and call their way outside the lines. Go off the script, do what you like. They hate it, they can take a break. You live your life to someone else's plan. Stick it to the man. Put some of it into your music.
Stick it to the man. Had it with the hipsters. Stick it to the man. Sick of corporate culture. Stick it to the man. Get him off your iPad. Stick it to the man.
Rock the house and make a scene and crank the amps to 17 and scream until their ears are shot. They all can kiss your you know what. Do everything they ever tried to ban. Stick it to the man. When the world has screwed you and crushed you in its fist, when the way you're treated has got you good and pissed, there's been one solution since the world began. Don't just sit and take it, stick it to the man. Rant and rave
And that was Film Factor. Join us again next time. Follow us on our social platforms at Born in Film on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to use hashtag The Passion Lives On.
You're so much cooler than. It's time to throw some shit against the fan. There's no way you can stop the school
Thank you, guys. See you next week.
When the world has screwed you and crushed you in